Hello everyone, this is Flatline, and today we're going to be doing a PvT on how to defend Proxy and Marauder rushes. And this is starting to get a little bit more common on the ladder. It's a very good cheese for Terrans to know, and it's pretty difficult to beat it if you do not know how to react well. So my opponent is going to be a red Terran, Cerberus, I believe, and he's just going to be doing sending his SCV early in the game. Meanwhile, back over here at my base, I am going to be playing normal, getting my 9 pylons, scouting as well, all that jazz. Do not see his SCV. That's one thing you could do on a hunter. You can actually just make it where your pro goes on this side. That way you can see if he's sending an early SCV or not. So I get to his base, and this is not a huge common thing. You know, like you can't assume right here, oh, he's not making barracks. You know, obviously because for CC first, he'll also be placing this barracks around this whole entire base. So what you want to do in this situation is you want to count his SCVs and to see if he's getting gas. You can see I'm looking around. I don't see anything. Back in my base, I'm still playing normal. I did get my gateway, then the assimilator. Nothing out of the ordinary coming from me. I don't see anything. I don't see a proxy rax. You'll see some of the Terrans do that actually. They'll get a proxy rax, and I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Adding on my extra gateway. I want to get that second gateway. I didn't spot his gas, I don't believe. Yeah, I didn't spot his gas. This is a nice way of dealing with the 1111 as well. You just get a second gateway a lot quicker, so you could, defend. What you want to do is you want to count his SCV counts, and you already see the gas as well. That's another good tell. You could tell if he's doing some proxy stuff is counting his SCVs. And you kind of relate it to yours. So let's say if you have 15 probes, it's like 15 supply, and they have 12 SCVs. They proxied someone, or they're really bad and they forgot to make SCVs. So I'm looking around, looking for it right now with my pros to see how far is he from my base. This will allow me to see how greedy I can get from here. You can see I'm stopping pro production for prioritizing my gateway units. I want to just get gateway units. And finally I scouted. I also see the tech lab researching, and since it's close, it's gonna definitely be concussive, of course. So I'm currently boosting out some zealots. I have only 3 zealots. I need to make stalkers now. I only had 1 corner boost, unfortunately. I want to send this probe back to his base, and this is gonna be for my counterattack. Once I defend this, I can counterattack with a pylon inside his base and be pretty far behind from there on. So with these zealots, all you're doing is buying time till the stalker gets out, and then bam, now you're looking pretty comfortable right now. He's gonna have to back up for a second, and now I'm overextending a little bit here. Can't lose any of these units, and not that easily though. I'm also able to take out the SCV. This is pretty huge. He's not gonna be able to make any bunkers. And you just want to stick to heavy stalkers. You just want to chrono boost stalkers. As bad as the Marauders are, these 3 zealots should allow you to be perfectly fine against these proxy 2 barracks. As long as you have the stalkers, you're going to be able to focus fire on the Marauders. The Marauders, they can't really focus fire on the stalkers, or they take too much damage from the zealots. And I think this is where I overstep my boundaries. You can see how I pulled these SCVs and the zealots back. That was a bad move by me. Now I'm able to actually focus fire on some of my stalkers here, which is quite unfortunate. But if you look at the units lost tab, it's all the way in favor of me, because these zealots are doing the extra damage. They're doing 16 damage to these marauders that are just hiding around. See how I'm just sniping these. It's pretty difficult for him to go from here on out. He's about to lose this other marauder as well. And I'm back in his base. You can see I'm putting up pylons over here. Back at my base, getting up my 3 gateways, getting up my warp gate as well. And all you do is you just want to defend this as much as possible. You do not, however, want him to be able to get back home with all of his marauders. So that's why you're playing a little bit aggressive here. Once you had these 3 zealots, once you had that first engagement and you felt like you won that, you want to play pretty aggressive, but not reckless. Listen, look at this, he's losing these 2 marauders. The distance he has to walk all the way back to his base, and he only has 1 marauder. And this is the typical thing, they'll have 1 bunker over here, but look at this. I already have a pylon inside his base. All I gotta do is just go straight to his base and pretty much win this game. Work gate's done, I'm getting my work gates now, and now I'm warping in 3 zealots. You can warp in whatever you want, pretty much. I just like the zealots because he's only gonna have like a marauder, and this works because it's a proxy round. He's not a Protoss where you can warp in units. Um, he's a Terran player, and he needs to rely on the barracks. And since the barracks are located all the way over here and they're floating, he has no production back at his base. So this is pretty much why you win with this. All you think is defending, defend, 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 and you cannot, when this war gate timing comes, you cannot let him escape with a lot of marauders. Because if he does escape with like 8 marauders or so, because he realizes, hey, you know what, I can't push into his base, then it becomes into a normal game between both of the players. And you know, if you had that kind of information, you should try to lend it towards your advantage, where you can get a huge lead, pretty much win the game. Don't want to try to make it where, yeah, I know the information, but let's just even it. Let's just even it. You don't really want that, right? So just remember when you're dealing with the proxy marauder, you want some zealots to tank, and then you want to prioritize chrono boosting out nothing but stalkers. You don't want a sentry or any of that kind of stuff. Just want stalkers as reinforcements. As long as you have some zealots. And once the first 2 come out, you want to just keep on playing semi-aggressive. You want to make sure you have an eye on his army. So when you know he's retreating, you pick him off with your stalkers, because the stalkers are a little bit faster. So he can't retreat all the way back at his base. He's forced to engage. And when he's forced to engage, then he's gonna have to lose some marauders, because if he focus fires on the stalkers, the zealots will do too much damage. If they don't focus on the stalkers and they go after the zealots, then the stalkers are focus firing on the marauders. So either way, it's a bad thing for the Terran. And it's a pretty easy proxy thing or cheesy build that you can defend. You just have to make sure you count the SCVs, make sure you scout around their main and natural, or any typical proxy place that they usually place their barracks at. Because if you do not do that, and you actually like cut probes and all that, and make that extra gateway, and he actually built the barracks, like let's say right here, and all he wanted to do was make a Reaper, just go for a Reaper expand. You're way behind. You cut probes right there, you added a second gateway that's not even going to help you at all, and it's just not going to look good from there on. So anyways guys, thanks for watching, and my voice is kind of like dying out right now, so I'm gonna end this real quick. But anyways, subscribe to my channel if you haven't at youtube.com/FlyNC2, and I'll see you later.